Hello, it's Will, and today I wanted to talk about why is it important to love your enemy. This is a quote from the Bible that Jesus first taught us, and I really wanted to apply it to today and why it is important. So I've been writing some things down as I go throughout my day as I practice this. I work at a gas station currently for the last time. This month, and then from there I'll be moving on to truck driving. And a common experience that we have at a gas station is obviously you clean the store, you deal with the store matters, but a lot of your job is dealing with people. And people come in not having the best day, and sometimes you end up getting the butt end of their feelings or emotions because they can't handle them. And it requires you to either go with the reaction that they're giving you, go with the attitude, go with the rudeness, or you have another choice of blocking it out, which is stemming from love the enemy. So basically the idea is, even if someone is rude to you, even if someone calls you the rudest of names, the meanest of names, you're able to just look at them and not care, maintaining love and peace within your heart. Because emotions are really tricky. I mean, all people are a conscious memory storage that's being consistently back up to the idea that we're in the present, and reactions. We create memories and we react to them. We are in the moment creating this experience and we're reacting to it emotionally, physically, smelling it, all that is. But a lot of our reactions that we have trouble with are our emotional reactions to things. So this is why it is important to love my enemy, because even if someone is rude to you, they say something rude to you, you take it in, and if you feel that emotion that they have just now given you, then you've lost control. So to love the enemy is not turning the other cheek and being weak, it's actually being strong. It's being able to say, hey, I'm not going to take in the energy that you're giving to me, and I'm going to keep my love and my peace in my heart and keep enjoying my day. I'm sorry that you're having a bad day, but that's really not my problem. I'll try to help you if I can, but I'm not going to allow the emotions or the energies that you're putting out to come into me. So even if somebody calls you a B word for cleaning the bathroom when they want to go, don't react. It's not okay, or it's not fair for you to have to feel that emotion that they're giving to you. So this is why it's important to love that enemy, and this is what Jesus was talking about. And I really feel like a lot of the things that are written in the Bible, Jesus' teachings, among a lot of the other people that were in the Bible, the things that they teach are intrinsic values that apply to the universe even today, which I think gives the Bible a lot of validity. So another thing that I really wanted to touch on is that no matter where you are in life right now, your thought processes, how you react to things, all that stuff can be reprogrammed. It doesn't matter right now if you're struggling with drug addiction, or you have anger problems, or you have some sort of mental illness that you think that you're experiencing, not that you think you're experiencing, that you're experiencing. Have faith that all of those things can be healed. The human mind is extremely reprogrammable. The body is you can work out your body, you can work out your mind. As you can change your body, you can change your mind. All of those things you can change, and you shouldn't have to feel like who you are in this moment is who you are going to be for the rest of your life. You can change. You don't have to change to the reading of the Bible. You don't have to change to the reading to going to church. But there are some things that you can do, such as reading the Bible, finding some sort of religion, taking care of yourself, exercising, changing your diet. What are you reading, or what are you watching? What are you absorbing? What do you spend doing your time? All these things that are part of your life, you can change, and you're not going to be stuck the way you are right now. It's possible to change. Change is possible, and I only am able to say that because I myself have changed a lot. So something else I wanted to take on today is all your human interactions can be automated. How, as I touched on in the last video, we have things called principles. So just as I drop this shoe, gravity exists whether I like it or not. There are some things that you can do with people that will work every single time, like it or not. So at the gas station, I've automated my experience. I used to have anxiety when people came up through the counter when I first started, but now it's, hi, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Would you like your receipt? Blah, blah, blah. Would you like a bag? Blah, blah, blah. Have a good day. And that's it. And all the anxiety is taken out. And I realized that, say there's something that you're afraid to do, such as public speaking, or I don't even know, going into a crowded place or something like that. You can learn, the human mind is able to pre-thought and sort of create a preset of what to do in that situation that really takes all the anxiety and fear out of it. The only thing that will be random that you won't be able to account for possibly is how someone else will react, but your reactions you can be in full control of. And it really will eliminate the fear and anxiety out of life, because life isn't, I think life is really scary sometimes when it is the unknown, but I think we can switch our mindset to the unknown is the only interesting part of life. The fact that I don't know what is going to happen is cool. The fact that I don't know what's going to happen, that's where the magic is. You know, that's why morality and a strong set of morals is so important. I need to know who I am. I need to know how I'm going to react in every situation. I need to have a strict set of who is will, in a sense, because I know that I've talked about removing self. So you need sort of just, not really a self, but just guidelines that you will follow no matter what in any situation. And once you have those, you'll feel a lot more confident with yourself in going into new situations. So I think that's something that's really interesting. And again, I think the point I really want to make is no matter how afraid you are, how much anxiety you have, no matter how unsure you are about doing things in your life, as long as you can set this up for yourself, you are software. You're software inside of a biological body. Your mind is, at least. And you can reprogram yourself to get rid of fear and anxiety. And I think what will take a lot of that away from you, fear and anxiety, is faith. And faith, just the simple faith of I believe in myself, but if that's not enough for you, you don't have to believe in yourself, you can trust in God. And God can be backed up through this very, very large book that you can read and sort of inner work in your mind why you should have faith. How God has helped people do amazing things in their lives, and God can do that for you. And nothing is impossible in this world, and that's the crazy thing, and that's the cool thing about it. So I'll end that segment with, don't fear the unknown. Be excited for the unknown, because the unknown is the magic, the variable that is out of your control that is cool. You know, you plug you into a situation because you know who you are. You can't be random and ever changing. You need to be consistent with yourself for how you interact with the situation, and the more you do that, the more that the only thing that is flexible is that thing that you're in front of you. So me going to work, I know how I'm going to react with every customer. I know how I'm going to treat people, and I look forward to plugging me into that reality, that system of things, and seeing how it will, what kind of feedback it'll give me, the interactions that I have with people, what's going to happen. It becomes interesting, you know, as you become sort of not bored of yourself, but you just start to know yourself because you have now a hardcore etched in stone thing of values inside of you. You'll be able to see the excitement out of life, and I really want that for people. So I want to talk about the removal of the ego. So I think I hit on this a little bit last video, which is the ego is a culmination of pride, basically feeling like you have to, ego is like measuring yourself to others. Even if it's, I feel like I'm not good enough, or I feel like I'm better than, I think those are both ego. And the moment you let go of that, I think what it is it's something that you have to practice not feeding. And then eventually if you stop feeding it, it dies. But it takes a while. And once you stop comparing yourself to others, and setting your worth to the relation of other people, you will feel so much better, I promise you. And that takes a lot of time and strength. But I think what I was talking about in the beginning is, in the Bible, it talks about how Adam and Eve were sort of just basic. They didn't have the ability to discern certain things about themselves, and I think that was the ego. Shame is part of ego. Like, it's like, oh no, I don't feel good about myself, like, and that's what I think. What the Bible says the devil added to the consciousness of a person is the ego. And if you look at the world, we promote the ego a lot today. We think we look for wealth. We want to be wealthy. We want to have the fastest car, the nicest clothes, to think we're better. We need to feed this thing that doesn't help us. I think the final thought on that is, do you serve ego, or does ego serve you? And I think the answer is, you serve ego. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to keep constantly going to something that you have to pay into. I have this car so I can feel good. I have these clothes so I can feel good. I have this, I have this, that, so I can feel good. I have this house so I can feel good. You have to keep paying into it to keep feeling good about yourself. So why not just take that away and feel good, no matter what? Whether or not you're wearing beggar's clothing or you're wearing $1,000 clothes, kill the ego. We don't need it. I think a lot of our problems come from ego, and if we got rid of it, we'd be a lot better off. So I think this is the final thing that I want to speak on. Oh no, there's a few more things. Is that the mind isn't always you, and we need to learn what our mind is. And I think a good way to think about it is that our mind is a completely separate entity. As I'm going throughout my day, I will have intrusive thoughts. It's not schizophrenia, it's not a voice talking to me, it's just a thought that comes into my head that I don't know where it came from. And a lot of these thoughts come from that. And what I would say is that we need to start looking at our mind as not you. You are not your mind. What comes into your mind isn't you. And what comes into your mind, you should not emotionally react to. What you need to react to, well, not necessarily. You should be more selective on what you react to that comes into your mind. And realize that your mind is sort of like a collector. As I scan this room, as I look at this room, I'm processing the room through thoughts. I see a red shirt, I'm thinking of that. So as I'm going throughout my day in reality, I'll be walking across, I'll see somebody, they'll look at me, and I'll think a thought. And maybe that thought isn't negative. So it's like, your thoughts aren't always your own, they're just reactions of your environment. And a lot of times our reactions to our environment are negative, therefore we think negatively, and then boom, as we know that we've discussed, is that our mind connects to our heart. So then we feel that, and then it creates that cycle. So we need to start looking at our mind as a separate entity from us together. Our mind is a tool. It's a tool. It's like a pencil. We don't emotionally invest in the pencil. We use the pencil to draw, to create. But we can't allow things that come through our mind to affect us and what we truly believe about ourselves. We have to detach it, cut it off, and just use it when it's necessary. I use my mind when I want to have a conversation with somebody. I use my mind when I need to study something. I use my mind when I want to make music, but that's it. I turn it off when I'm not using it. To meditation, I think, and mindfulness is something that I haven't really gotten into. I think what I do is I try to find time to sit outside, and I haven't done that a lot lately, is just to sit outside and quiet the mind and just take in the sounds, because that's always peaceful. But I think the way that we look at our mind really needs to change, and I haven't totally created a great understanding of that yet. But what I would say is our mind is like a pencil, and we need to learn to stop taking it so seriously and stop taking what comes into our head as just the truth. It's not always you. I believe you are written in your heart. your dreams, your passions are all come from your heart. If we can learn to think with our hearts, that would be amazing. So I'll stop on that one. And then I would like to say, last thing is, we must learn to detach reaction from emotion. There can no longer be emotional reactions. I think we should react and then pause and then choose to feel, not react and feel. React and feel. We must react, pause, then feel. I think that's what society or people are going to start doing, I pray, is to start evolving from the inside. We don't need to evolve our outsides. We need to evolve our spirit and our mind. And I think that the mind can evolve through the spirit. That I think there is the mind, body, and spirit. And if we can evolve our spirit through being moral people that are loving and kind for the sake of being loving and kind, we can then evolve our minds. And we can become more conscious beings. And we can start to sort of separate ourselves emotions, have better control over emotions. Because I think a lot of people, their struggle nowadays is how they process emotional processing. And those can be handled from the inside out. I can think before I feel, and trust me, I still struggle with that completely still. And I've only been at this sort of type of thinking for about a year, or since COVID started. But if we can, as a culture, as the world, can sort of separate emotions from thought, we would be so much better off. If we had a firm coded out matrix of who we are as people, who we wanted to be, whether or not you want to take your moral compass from this, or you want to take your moral compass from a book written by somebody that you like. You need to have a strong moral code of conduct of who you are. How are you going to react in situations? Once you're familiarized with that, then you can go into situations and enjoy them, because again, you're plugging in something into a situation and then watching it transform around you based off who you are. And I think that's really important. So the mind, I'll end it like this. The mind is like a separate entity entirely. We must detach it from the body and learn to silence it. The mind isn't always you. You are your heart. Learn to think from your heart. Self is of the mind. Remove self and remove ego. Don't think thoughts. Become automated. So I think that's something that if we could learn how to do that, sort of see ourselves as robots, because we really are. You can get you take away a lot of that fear and anxiety. And I think spirituality isn't silly mystic thinking. I think it's actually a more complex way of thinking. I think the way that I saw it in the beginning was sort of silly stuff, but I realized that it is a science, and it is a science that is accurate. Compassion, the way that it's described, is accurate. And I hope that you can find this into your life, whether it's through hearing what I'm saying or just finding God on your own. I pray that for you, or finding spirituality on your own. The spirit, acknowledge it. Acknowledge the spirit. And I think that if the world could do that, acknowledge the existence of a soul, realize that we're not here to make money and amass items, then we'll be a lot better off. So hopefully you learned something. I have short-term memory is terribly these days. I have no idea what I said, but it has been some stuff that's been on my mind. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.